And by now you know the drill. It's 3 a.m. You're here to get the truck and the trailer, put the tires on the back on the tire warmer, generator, etc., and head up the hill to get in line. Day one, and we're at Glen Cove today. 4:20 a.m. Glen Cove. Everyone's setting up pit. All right, put the driver in. Let's go for our first run up the hill today at Glen Cove.
Together.
Action. Magnus, you made it down all the way from Canada.
Yes, I did.
Are you going to be able to go back to Canada? Or are you stuck in our country now?
I think I'm going to be an illegal alien now, and I'm happy about it.
Came in the wrong border.
I know.
No, he didn't.
We're doing
Canada via Mexico.
Yeah.
Oh, is that how you got in?
No, immigrant caravan. It comes from the north now.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They got
Can we
coyotes
bust
up there,
into a
too.
USA chant? Is it too early in the morning?
No, it's perfect.
USA.
That's it.
USA.
Oh,
USA.
Canada.
Sure. That's the red one would be the one we just made, yeah?
Yeah, and I can do all except last if you'd like.
There we go. It's like a switch there above about 4,500. So despite our best efforts to tame the mountain with this thing, it just wasn't sounding right up there, and I don't think it sounded right on the last day up at the top. We're gonna run the top tomorrow, but just to be sure, we took it to the dyno, found some stuff on the dyno, figured out kind of some workarounds for the problems we're having at low speed. So hey, goes in the trailer easier. So it's 6:45 p.m. We're done. Load the trailer up, go home, try and get something to eat, get a shower, go to bed instantaneously, and get up by probably 1:30 because we have to be up earlier tomorrow to go to the top. So yeah, that was the better part of 5 hours on the dyno. It was a good ass kicking. I haven't had one of those in quite a while. But that thing just would not run below about 3,000. And then it didn't want to run when it was revved up. We finally kind of got through that, and then, you know, we're playing with it, trying to figure out what it wants on the dyno. Finally figured, okay, stop looking at the data, just give this thing what it wants. So stick a bunch of fuel in it, doesn't like that. Take a bunch of fuel out of it, doesn't like that. Stick more ignition timing in it, doesn't like that. Take ignition timing away, doesn't like that. Change the injection timing, doesn't give a shit. Finally, I'm noticing, hey, he's got a constant load set on the dyno, and he's rolling into it with his foot, right? And as he opens the throttle, he gets to the point where it crosses over and makes boost, and it starts to have a problem. You know, this is 2,000 RPM. I finally go, you know what? Why don't we just not let the throttle go past that? Don't let it make boost at 2,000 RPM. So ultimately, that's what I did. I mapped the throttle by engine RPM, so it can't have more throttle than it takes to not make any boost at 2,000. And it runs like a champ, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. But yeah, that was a proper ass whipping.
Definitely a good day. Hold on, I'm not doing this without my phone.
Now what do you have to say?
It was a good day.
Yeah?
Car's great. Andy and all you guys just really got it nailed. Jameson, Kevin, Shane, Brandon, Tristan, just appreciate you guys. It's been super awesome.
Cool, man.
I feel good. I don't know that you could nail the setup any better. I really don't. I feel, I'm sure there's a little bit Andy would like to do, but I do. I feel great. Power was great. Power was great. I don't think you could ask for anything more.
We spent 5 hours trying to fix that yesterday, so it's good we made some headway.
It's well worth it. Well worth it. Yeah. So I feel good.
Awesome.
We got a good card.
Quali tomorrow, yeah?
Qualifying tomorrow, and the name of the game is just get through qualifying.
Awesomeness.
We'll do what we can.
What do you have to say?
Breakfast time.
All right. Guys, get to work. So that'll wrap us up for day 2 up at Devil's Playground. It's, views up here are just captivating. It's just not really any other way to say it. And yeah, so we go for qualifying tomorrow in the lower section, and then we'll see how we get on. Right, so here we are back after we got breakfast. Day 2. We're Devil's Playground testing. Actually went very well. We made 2 runs. We were happy with everything, except, of course, the launch control. I out-tricked myself yesterday with the throttle closing thing to make it run good from low RPM. And of course, when he went to launch the car, it pulled the engine down far enough to shut the throttle and kill the motor. So that was awesome. Classic example of you fix one thing, you create a new problem. So anyway, easy fix, just put the throttle back wide open, and now it makes boost and launches like it's supposed to. So now it's service the car, load it back in the trailer, and go up for qualifying tomorrow. Yeah, so this is where I failed with my let the throttle close with RPM so it's nice and smooth idea. His first run today, he goes to let the clutch out. You see the clutch pressure drop here, and the engine speed drops. And as soon as the engine speed drops, you see the throttle position drop with it. That's this green line here, so it won't let the engine have enough air to run, and it just stalls. So that was stupid. So this is how it goes when there's race week in town, and you have a shop, and people know you have a shop. So that's the second. There's the third version. I think there's another one getting loaded up outside somewhere. They're welding on something up on another one up in the front. Yeah, this is race week, Pikes Peak.
That's Marco's Evo. Not my Evo. That's my Evo. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said his ego.
Yeah, that's
I'm
my
like,
ego.
there's nothing bigger than his head. So it's qualifying morning for us. We're running the lower section today. So today is our qualifying run. We are at the starting line at 9,300 feet. And the problem you can see is that the ground is wet. It's raining today. And the problem with that is that the starting position that you get is based on your qualifying time. And the slower your qualifying time is, the later in the day you run on race day. And for 2 days we've had dry conditions down here. So everyone that's run for the last 2 days is going to be super quick. And obviously anybody that runs today is not going to be super quick because they're on the wet. So it is what it is. We'll see how we get on in the wet. So in the current rain conditions, all we could do is really try and duct tape off the front half of the air filter that's sticking up in the air so the water doesn't come straight off the front of the tire and go right onto the air filter and go straight in the engine. And then come into the traction control curve and take some allowable wheel slip away from it and change the lateral G compensation, because he's obviously not going to be able to generate much lateral G in the wet, and try and get it to just hold on to it, and then go take the boost control and back the boost control off to basically wastegate spring worth of boost, so it's not got enough power to just get a run at it, and hope for the best. Gingerly stroll through the park.
So he'll come down, and the first thing he'll say is like, I want to bring it down to 25.
So yeah, obviously our best ever in the dry is 406. That was a 420. We're technically qualified for the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb. Everybody's excited. Don, great job, Don. Hugs all around.
Come on, back it up. Back that ass up. All right, now you can go.
Great job, Don.
Good job, Don.
Great job, buddy. We're in. What a difference an hour makes, huh?
Yeah, so he went out and he was on a downshift into a corner, and he just spun it around a little bit. So it took off a little bit of the end plate, as you can see over there.
Yep. It's all good.
Yeah.
We are drying out. It's actually blue sky above the mountain, and you can see the sun shining on the top of it. So the plan is to wait about another 20 minutes and then go give it one more rip. We're currently P1 in our category for today, and P3 or something overall for today, but obviously that's in the rain. So if we can improve a little bit, the best we've been in the dry is 406. We just went 420 in the wet. It's mostly dry, but a little bit wet yet, so we're gonna give it one more crack and see how we get it. Quite interesting little bit of nature's wind tunnel. You see where the mud traces are kind of smearing around the bodywork, so you could tell where the air is attached to the car and where it's not attached to the car by where the mud traces are ending up. We got some streaks coming from the center here towards the back, so it's obviously hooked to the thing down in here. Always something to learn if you pay attention. All right.
Oh, he went
Picked it up a little bit. 15.
Yep, that's fine.
But we're fun limited.
We're fun limited.
So. So he just got a text message or an email that told him he's part of the Fast 15, which is one of the top 15 qualifiers for the event. So he's inviting his wife to the dinner that's happening tonight at 5 o'clock. It's pretty exciting. So Don, what just happened right now?
I just got the invite. We're one of the Fast 15.
So what's that mean?
That means we are one of the 15 fastest people on the mountain in qualifying. And so, yeah, I think I might be one of the fastest pastors now.
I'm sure you're one of the.
I don't know where Lane went. Lane was pretty fast. I think he was faster than me. But nonetheless,
You'll always be our fastest pastor.
Thanks.
So we're back at Dan's place with the car unloaded. We're just going through it, cleaning parts up. We got the good news a few minutes ago that we actually qualified 11th, which is pretty awesome. So that means we'll be the 11th starter on race day, Sunday. And, you know, everything else is kind of up to Don and whatever is destined to happen. We can only do so much with the car. We've got it pretty much where we want it to be. The conditions will dictate what we do with the tune. But other than that, it's pretty much ready. And we're excited. We want to finish. This is going to be awesome. So just having a look at the data and comparing our best run in that sector, which is the starting line lower section from last week when we went 406, versus what we just did. And I have the variance, which is basically trying to tell us where time is lost or gained based on the distance of the run and of the two runs from last week and this week. So you could see actually in the first, let's say 1 mile, Don had managed to increase, or decrease if you want, his lap time by 0.4 of a second here over his 406 from last week. And he was able to maintain that all the way till about here, and then from there up, as the conditions worsened compared to last week when we were totally in the dry and on slicks, he just couldn't keep the pace up, and that's so we lost the time there. But it's kind of exciting to know that we were on the right path this morning, at least for the first, I'll say 2 miles of that lower sector. We were on par with, and actually better than, are 406. So that's exciting news.
Becker in that Mazda 3. Oh, that's fun.
So we're just sitting in the house watching the F1 series on Netflix, and there's horrendous crash of thunder happens outside. We come outside, it's pissing it down, and yet you can see over in the distance on the mountain the sun's out, and it's a nice sunny day, right where we were this morning, behind that tree. It's part of what makes racing up here unique. So it's Friday morning, we're just buttoning up the car, getting ready to figure out how to get all this stuff up the hill and into the pits and all that stuff with a limited pit space we have. But this question actually comes from my daughter Bella, who was asking why we have these things wrapped around the tires and why do we need tire warmers. So these are tire warmers. They're made by this company, Chicken Hawk Racing. There's other people that make them too. There's one for each corner of the car, and then they've got a little control head with a thermostat. They plug into 110 volt power. That's what we run the generator to power up the warmers on the car. But the tire warmers are used to keep the tires or get the tires warm before you go out on the course, because when the tire has more temperature in it, the rubber has more grip. So the idea is to heat the tires up to temperature before you take off so that you immediately have full grip. As you run the car up the racetrack or around any racetrack and the tire flexes, the tire naturally gains temperature and gets stickier or grippier the more you run them. So that's what these tire warmers are for, to give us kind of a head start on that process right when the car takes off. And then you'll notice there's some slick tires and some groove tires. The groove tires are used when there's rain. So the water on the road will squeeze up between the tire contact patch and into these grooves and wick out of the way so that the car will stick to the ground, just like a street car tire. When there's no rain, you want as much area touching the ground as possible, and that's why you use this slick tire. It's got no grooves in it. It's got more rubber contact with the road and more grip. So based on the limited space that we're going to have in the pit area, we get 80 feet, but we just figured out this morning that between a 32-foot trailer, a 35-foot motorhome, and a race car that's 20 feet long, we're not going to have any room to work. So we went and got this Penske van to load all our stuff in so that we can work out of the van at the top of the mountain. So I thought I would take a couple minutes using this cool map of the course layout of Pikes Peak to explain how the qualifying works. So in testing and during the practice days leading up to qualifying, they have 3 separate qualifying days for 3 groups of cars, because they don't have enough time to run all the cars on one day in qualifying in one section. So in all the testing, they split everybody into 3 groups. They run the lower, middle, and upper, which typically the lower would start down here at the starting line and then run uphill up to Glen Cove. And that's where marker 13 is there, Glen Cove. And you would stop just short of Glen Cove. And then the second group to run the middle would start at Glen Cove, and they would run up to mile 16 and stop. And then the third group would run the top, and they would run from 16 on up to the summit. And then the second day, the groups would switch around so that the group that ran the top might run the bottom. The next day, the group that ran the middle runs the top. The people on the bottom run the middle. So during race week, the day that you run the bottom is the day of your qualifying. And again, you get there's 3 separate days of qualifying, and our day was the last day, which is Thursday. So they started qualifying with the group that ran the lower section on Tuesday, and they continued with qualifying with the group that ran the lower section on Wednesday, and then we ran the lower section on Thursday. Our day, it happened to be raining, which is part of what makes it a little bit tricky, because you're not sure what the weather's going to be on the day that you qualify. But the point is that the qualifying is only over 1/3 of the course, and you never get a chance to run the entire course from one end to the other, the entire 156 turns and 12 miles until race day. So you never get a run at the whole thing to see what the entire race is going to be like, what the entire surface is going to be like, the setup of the car for the whole thing. You just run sections. And then again, your qualifying is based on starting line to Glen Cove. So that's why the qualifying times are all in the around, say, 4-minute range. The faster cars go a little bit under 4 minutes. We ran 4:15. And then there's obviously some slower cars that are approaching 5 minutes. And if you can run less than 10 minutes from starting line to summit, that's a pretty good achievement on the mountain. So that's just a quick rundown of how the qualifying works, how the practice works, and one more little piece of insight into just how difficult it is to run up here, because you get 0 time to run the entire course until it's race day, and you're always struggling with weather, and you're not really guaranteed on the day that you're going to qualify that you're going to have a chance to run quick if there's adverse conditions like rain, or maybe there's fog, or who knows. So that's just one more thing that makes it difficult to run up here, and also kind of cool. So it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. It is pit setup day. So yeah, we have an 80-foot spot, which is actually back there. From that cone to the front of the motorhome. We don't have room for the trailer, so we're gonna put a car in there, a race car, and a van full of our stuff, and that's gonna be our pit spot. Starting line's right up there. So that'll be us. Motorhome, race car, Penske van, pit area-ish. So then that's us all moved in. Fair bit of traffic coming up here as other people try to move in, and as tourists stop to look at our setup apparently. But yeah, so we're from the motorhome. Blue tarp, race car cover, anti-fouling weather gear. Also stops bears and or thieves. Penske van. So now we get to go home and not really get any sleep because we have to be up here at 1:30 a.m. so that we can get up here before the crowd gets up here and get to the pit area. And then start the race tomorrow morning around 7:30. And we are forecast for snow overnight near the summit. So we'll see how that works out. It's currently 12:30 a.m. How many race car guys does it take to put gas in a car? Monkeys and footballs comes to mind. Anyway, we've got about 0 hours sleep, so it's time to head up the mountain. It is 12:30 a.m., but in 1 hour they will open the gates for us to climb to the peak. Well, climb to the starting line, pits. Man, are we tired. What are you guys doing?
There's a Viper.
Are you guys looking at cars again?
We like cars.
We're supposed to go race.
This is a 997 GT3 RS.
I don't think they're going to appreciate the fact that you stacked all these cars up like that.
Doesn't matter because they're fucking my cars.
What do you mean they're your cars? We're in 7-Eleven. These are the...
Leave those for those kids. Leave some of those for those kids.
What are you going to do?
What about the GTO? Do we have a GTO? No.
So... You're literally buying all of their cars.
No, there's like 4 left. I like the DHL. Uh-oh, my truck won't fit on here. What do you call it? What is this? What is this called? Sneeze guard? Plexiglass. Sneeze guard. I don't want to sneeze on you. Sneeze guard. I will not sneeze on you.
We are buying all of the cars in 7-Eleven, therefore, and they're also like the spring, you pull them back, wind up cars, so we can have races up on the mountain. Well, we're set up here race day. Got up here at about 1:30 in the morning. Tried to sleep in the truck for a while. That was marginally successful. Car's out, warmed up, ready to go. They've delayed the start of the race because if you look in the distance, there is snow on the top. So we will only be running to 16 Mile today. We won't be running the full course. So anyway, it's been started, running, ready to go. Put the tires on it when they call our turn. Probably going to be in an hour and a half or so. And it is what it is at that point. It's up to Don.
There's bears in a tree. They're trying to get the honey.
So, obviously we're in their territory, but if we wait here long enough, we should definitively have the answer to whether or not a bear indeed does shit in the woods. Don's been around, got some motivation from everyone on the crew, said thanks to everybody, putting his helmet on and about to live his dream. In Sector 1.
Oh, so they didn't lose totally.
221 second sector, that's not bad. So I think that's going to close it for us at Pikes Peak. We finished the race, which is awesome. That's what we wanted. We started the race. We finished the race. Ran under 7 minutes in this shortened race distance. So, yeah, other than the launch control being a complete piece of shit and embarrassing you on the starting line, which why wouldn't it? That's normal. Works 73 times in a row after you fix it. And then the one time you try it in front of everybody on TV, it dies twice. So that's cool. Anyway, I think that's a wrap from Pikes Peak 2021. We're currently P10. I don't know if that'll hold up. We'll see how we end up in our class. And yeah, it's time to get some sleep. Congratulations, man.
Oh man,
Great job. 11th overall, second in class. We started and we finished.
Did it, man.
Pretty huge.
I did.
Good luck, Travis. Here too.
Oh.